much, Mr. Redl. Good afternoon. NTIA has a vital role to play in ensuring our spectrum resources are being used efficiently as possible. I serve not only on this Commerce Committee that has jurisdiction over NTIA, but I chair the CJS subcommittee, your appropriations subcommittee. Does the agency have the necessary resources, both legal and financial, to ensure that other federal agencies are using spectrum efficiently and that we're making more spectrum available commercially to use where appropriate and particularly in a timely fashion? And what should we do to consider, what tools should be considered to ensure that agencies are efficient users of spectrum?
Well, thank you, Senator, and we look forward to working with you on two committees.
We,
like all federal agencies, are making the most of what resources we have. I think with respect to things that we would like to see improved, our challenges with information technology have been pretty well established over the last 10 years. Our management system for spectrum frequency assignments within the federal government is showing its age. And while our staff continues to do a good job of making it work, if we want to go forward with 21st century allocations, we're trying our best to make sure we have the 21st century tools for that job. And so that's something that we struggle with, is making sure we have the information technology we need to get that done.
What are you doing to reduce the struggle?
We continue to try to consolidate systems. We continue to try to work with our interagency partners to rely on other agencies that have the tools in place that we can. We have a very strong relationship with the Department of Defense as the largest single spectrum user, and we continue to work cooperatively with them. But it's a struggle. There are challenges with all the IT systems in the federal government. This isn't unique to NTIA. With respect to authorities, as I mentioned earlier, the President in his fiscal 19 budget asked for our ability to have access to leasing as a potential option for federal spectrum. As we move down the path of continuing to clear and reallocate spectrum, at some point we are going to not be able to do that in an efficient and economically viable way. We continue to pack more and more federal use into less and less spectrum, and there are going to be some bands for which we can't relocate everyone, but there may be opportunities to make spectrum available through other means other than clearing and reallocation. Leasing could be one of those tools.
Let me turn to 5G mobile broadband. My view is we must win the race. This innovative technology will faster, support more devices, respond in real time, allowing for tremendous breakthroughs in innovation. We see it in precision agriculture in my home state of Kansas, remote healthcare, connected vehicles, energy education, a whole array of opportunities. Will there be additional spectrum necessary for enabling 5G deployment? And if so, what are we doing to accomplish that?
Senator, I think the answer is yes. There is a seemingly insatiable need for spectrum. Mobile and wireless are both technologies that are pushing into, as you noted, almost every facet of American life, of American work, and of the American economy. And so as we drive forward, we are trying to make sure we look across the entire electromagnetic spectrum to make more available. In concert with our FCC colleagues, we've looked at the low band. Our pipeline proposals that came as part of the 2015 budget bill have produced two proposals in the low band to make more available. That's 1,300 and 1,350 and 1,675 to 1,680 that we're looking at as potential bands for reallocation. We're also looking in the mid-band, along with our FCC colleagues, at all of the spectrum between 3450 and 4.2, which is the C-band, the CBRS spectrum, and the 3450 band that we've identified from radar systems. If we get those all together, that's a real down payment on a 5G future because it has a good mix of coverage and capacity. And the work the FCC is doing in conjunction with us to help keep government incumbents in place and make spectrum available on Spectrum Frontiers is going to provide a lot of bandwidth for 5G.
Mr. Redl, let me interrupt. I have 40 seconds left. Tell me about where we are on the Mobile Act now requires the FCC and NTIA to create a national plan for unlicensed spectrum, orders the NTIA to develop recommendations on how to reform the reallocation fund. Where are we in that planning process?
We're early in the planning process, but we are aware of the deadlines, and we're working with our FCC colleagues to make sure we have things to you in time. I think it's worth noting that on the unlicensed front in particular, the FCC's mid-band NOI is looking at the 6 gigahertz band, which is a real opportunity potentially for a big chunk of unlicensed to look towards our unlicensed needs going forward.
Mr. Redl, thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks, Senator Moran. Senator Hassan.